Hey folks, welcome back. RenegadeCon wrapped up earlier this weekend, and boy oh boy do we have a lot to talk about here. Oh my goodness, did they reveal a lot of Heroscape stuff. So I don't want to make this video too long and rambly. I feel like the last one I did, I just kind of droned on and on and on, and I understand if some folks are here for that. Like if you're here because you're like, I want to hear Slugger's opinion on these cards. Thank you, I appreciate that. But also, I spent a really long time making that last video as a result of how in-depth and how rambly I got. So I'm trying to keep the production time on this down so that I can get it out in a meaningfully short amount of time. So yeah, we're just gonna dive right in. I'm gonna try to glance over the things that don't interest me all that much, and I will dive into the things that actually do interest me quite a bit. So let's start things off by talking about G.I. Joe Heroscape. This is something that I'm still coming to terms with, if I'm honest. I know when I first saw it revealed, I was very hesitant. There's something about licensed IPs that just keeps me at arm's length. If you followed my stuff that I make about Lego on my main channel, you'll know this already, that I'm just not interested. It's just not what I get into that hobby for, and the same thing goes for Heroscape as well. I'm really resistant to embracing new figures, even if they're balanced to be compatible with Classicscape, even if they're balanced in a way that they're fun, like they've got fun designs, and some of these figures honestly really do. There's just always going to be that barrier of separation from from embracing these figures wholeheartedly. It's exactly the same thing that happens with D&Dscape, right? Like, it's a licensed IP. I know it doesn't belong in Valhalla. It's not part of the lore. It's not an original creation. And even when Heroscape is like aping off of successful franchises, like what Lego used to do back in the 80s and 90s before they had licensed IPs, same difference, right? That to me is just more authentic. It comes from a place of like the sincerest form of flattery, you know, that imitation, right? And that's what I want to see. So I don't really need like literally G.I. Joe. We have Sergeant Drake Alexander, you know, like he's kind of already G.I. Joe, right? Like that's kind of what I'm getting from that. So to literally get G.I. Joe, and so much of it, to be honest, there's just so many army cards here. So yeah, if you want to hear in-depth takes about any of these army cards, I'm really the wrong slug for this. So I'm just gonna say that I'm undecided on the G.I. Joe stuff. I don't know. Like if Renegade offers to send me some, I might turn them down. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, like my heart's not in it, you know, the same way it is for other things. So anyways, G.I. Joe, they're doing a couple of sets here. They've got a battle box. That's gonna be the new battle box. Really smart idea. Like I totally get it. I get it, you know, like make the battle box a licensed IP, because then you can get people into the game system, and then hopefully they expand out from the game system into the rest of what Valhalla has to offer. Like, yeah, it's super savvy. Like, it makes tons of sense. I just don't know if it's going to be a product that really appeals to me. You know, the biggest thing, my biggest hesitation here, I think, is that Renegade has basically confirmed that G.I. Joe is going to be contemporary legal. Like, these figures are all meant to be played alongside your, you know, Knight Primus Adelburns and your Queen Maledrixes and all that sort of stuff. And God, you know, that just, it reminds me so much of when Wizards of the Coast took over Heroscape way back when, and then started injecting their IP into the game. And yeah, those figures were balanced. Like, they were balanced to work alongside, you know, Classicscape. And honestly, some of those designs are really good. Like, I don't have any problems with a lot of the designs. But there just always is that that barrier. Like it categorically is not the same as classic Scape, you know. Just like G.I. Joe is categorically not going to be the same as contemporary Scape, even if it's legal in the same thing. Like there's just, you know, one's a licensed IP, the other isn't. You know, there is a line in the sand that's very clear and distinct, demarcation between the two. So yeah, anyways, they're doing a battle box. They're doing a couple of expansion sets. Some of those are commons. Yeah, I don't know, and it sounds like they want to do more. Like they're offering to do like a survey to see what fans want, like fans of G.I. Joe, what fans of G.I. Joe want to see in Heroscape. I don't know if I'm Yo Joe or No Joe at this point. Yeah, we'll see. It's a wait and see approach for me, I think. Wow, I am going to be here forever if it already took me 5 minutes to say that I'm not all that interested in G.I. Joe. All right, let's pick up the pace here. I think I want to kind of go through these releases basically in the order that they revealed them. I think that's probably the smart call, at least figures wise, right? There was a ton of terrain reveals, like a ton, honestly, like a lot of terrain reveals that I don't know, I can circle around to at the end, I suppose. It doesn't really matter, but yeah, anyway, the layout looks something like this. February is going to be very sparse. There's just a couple of things coming out in February. March is G.I. Joe to the nines. And then April and May, that's the meat and potatoes of what I really want to see. So let's jump there. So the first box here is the Elites of Ullar and Ranoc Vipers army expansion. So let's talk about, maybe we'll do the Vipers first. Why not? Let's do the Vipers first. This is the army card design that I think I am the most excited for. By the way, this is an all Ullar box, right? You're getting Vipers and the Elites in the same box. I made a big deal about that when Sonlin and Halucia came out, and I said that, you know, this might be the last time I ever get to experience this, an all Ullar boxed release. It looks like I'm gonna get another chance, so I'm really stoked about that. Ullar is my general, you know. Anyways, here's the snakes. Big snakes, and they've got guns. Yeah, these snakes have, well, I mean, the Vipers are mortal enemies with the Morrow, and they fight on the planet Mar. So these Vipers have fought the Morrow and have stolen their weaponry, right? So these are Morrow weapons, like that you see on the Morrow warriors and whatnot. I think that's really cool. It's a neat way to give the Vipers a ranged squad. This is the first Viper ranged component of the entire army, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, so stat block, crazy stat block here. This is highly unique. There has never been a stat block quite like this one. Actually, you know what? Now I'm thinking about it. No, the Gorillinators are nearly the exact same stat block. Yeah. Oh. Anyways, yeah, so very, very similar to the Gorillinator stat block here. 7 move, 6 range. Woo! That's really great. Attack of 2, defense of 0. Wah, wah. Yeah. 50 points. 50 points. Honestly, that is so huge for the value of this card. Yeah, I think, like, I mean, there was a ton of reveals today. The online discussion has been all over the map. In my opinion, I think this is the single squad that people are sleeping on potentially the most. It's the Ranoc Vipers. For 50 points, only 50 points, a 3-figure squad with 7 move and 6 range, like crazy, bonkers to get such like value at such a low cost. Yeah, 7 move and 6 range basically means you're attacking with 3 Vipers every single turn, no matter what. Like, other than order marker 1 of round 1, you're getting attacks in. You're always throwing dice, and in Heroscape, that is always a good thing. You want to be throwing dice on your turn as much as possible. So yeah, I'm really excited for that. And then they've got a trio of abilities over here. The first one, Hypnosis, It triggers whenever you attack an adjacent figure with the Ranoc Vipers. The defender reduces its defense value by 1 for each skull in the attacking Viper's roll. This is so cool. Like, this is a really powerful melee ability. So they have already a great stat block for range, but then they're given this extra ability to really double down on melee engagements. So imagine now you're rushing in to attack an opponent's figure, and with your 7 move, you're able to get height advantage on them. So you're rolling 3 dice. Let's say, 2 of those dice show skulls. Now your opponent's rolling 2 less defense die to even try to block the attack. So not only have you rolled 2 skulls, right, which is a good thing, right? Not only have you done that, but you've disallowed your opponent the ability to retaliate in full force. This is a real feast or famine sort of ability. When you roll well with it, you are going to reap the rewards. I love it. I love it. And I really think this power is one that is going to see the Vipers used in melee rolls quite frequently, because you can then launch these Vipers in to attack stronger targets, and you increase your odds of actually being able to cut through. So like something like Queen Maledrix, one of the reasons she's so powerful and so tough to take down is because she has 5 defense paired with 6 life. And that's just a really strong bulwark to try to get through. But if you're sending in Ranoc Vipers and you feel like you got a few to expend in the process, if you make that height attack and you roll 3 skulls, for example, then all of a sudden Maledrix is only rolling 2 defense dice. And at least one of those skulls is going through, probably all 3, right? It becomes so strongly favored for the Vipers. So if you're rolling hot, like, all Vipers, they're very roll dependent, but if you're rolling hot, this can just be brutal. One squad attacking Queen Maledrix could take her out in one attack. Like bonkers. So yeah, hypnosis I think is huge, and I don't know if folks have come to truly appreciate how significant that power is going to be on this card. I foresee taking a vast number of these figures in an army and using them in a ranged, kite roll for a bit, and then, choosing targets to just launch in and fire your Vipers at them. Because the 50-point value, like I mentioned earlier, that's why this is so significant, because you can afford to lose Vipers. Like, this is only 10 points more than the Ranoc Vipers, and the Ranoc Vipers are fantastic. Like they're really great, and they are a melee squad. So the fact that this squad has range alone would be worth the extra 10 points, but then they have this really potent melee ability that goes with that. I just think, yeah, this is icing on the cake. It's going to be great. Yeah, so like, you're sending your Vipers to die. Yes, I get that. But, the same thing's true for the Ranoc Vipers. And in the case of the Ranoc Vipers, you only need to do 17 points worth of damage per Viper to get your money's worth out of them. And that could be after they have already pinged your enemy from range, right? You already could have generated that value, and then you just launch them in like a little cruise missile and get the hypnosis attack on. It's bonkers. I love it. I love the pairing of this ability with that stat block. So someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the Vipers are actually the progenitors of the evasive ability. I think the Elite Onyx Vipers were the first army card to have this ability with Evasive 8. Now, Evasive 8 is that is a stupid power. That is just bonkers, right? So, like, when the Elite Onyx Vipers are defending from range, they roll 10 defense dice. Like, it's just, what were they thinking? It's just crazy. But it is a lot of fun. That is a fun power. Now, the Ranoc Vipers, they get Evasive 2. Evasive 2 is still pretty good. You get 2 defense dice when you're rolling against a non-adjacent attack. So when they're being shot at, they actually get 2 defense dice. And like I said earlier, 7 move more or less guarantees that you're going to be on height. You're going to have the high ground because you're moving faster than your opponent. So in reality, their stat line is much more similar to the Ranoc Vipers, plus they have a ranged attack, and they're not as expensive. So, yeah, I like this. I like this. And then finally, they have Slither, which is what all the Vipers have, which just allows them to move through water without stopping. It's just like the swim power that the Gelry have. So that's really cool. Yeah, and over on the left-hand side here, they are hunters, and they're tricky, which is interesting. A lot of the other Vipers are scouts. I'm glad that they didn't go the scout route, even though it would have been nice to have the Ranoc Warlord boost these Vipers and have 9 move on a range squad. That's the main reason why I don't think they should be scouts. 9 move on a ranged common squad is, yeah, that's a little too much, I think. Tricky is an interesting choice as well, too. A lot of the other Vipers have been relentless in the past. The Elite Onyx Vipers are precise, so these ones are tricky. So that's kind of neat. I also like that they don't get synergy from the Ranoc Warlord because, oh man, this is just wishful thinking, but it might hint at a Ranoc Warlord in the future. Something that would be really amazing. Or just throwing it out there, an Armok Warlord. Finally, maybe we could get an Armok Warlord that actually boosts protectors or something like that. A slug can dream. Now, obviously, I'm going to be spending some time playtesting and proxying this army just to see how it goes. I've got tons of Vipers, so I have no shortage of proxy figures there. But, you know, 8 squads of Ranoc Vipers. 8, I know I'm saying 8. It's crazy, it's crazy. 8 squads of Ranoc Vipers, that's 24 figures and exactly 400 points. Just saying. That could be pretty crazy. Could be pretty good. Yeah. So I it sounds insane to say this, but I think I'm in it for 8 copies of the Ranoc Vipers. 8 copies. Well, at least I have some time to save up my bickies here, because yeah, these guys aren't coming out till April. So yeah, I'll just put some money away each month and do a big splurge when it happens. But yeah, I'm excited. You can tell. So the other Ullar squad included here are the Elites of Ullar, and this is a Curie common squad. We kind of knew this thing was coming out in order to help out Ziamara and Mielke, who are the Ullar Curie heroes from Age of Annihilation. This is the common squad that's supposed to give them some support. I've been told that this squad is really quite strong. They really don't look all that good on paper, though. Like on the card, I don't know. I'm not seeing it. But because they're included with the Ranoc Vipers, I'm going to be getting them in vast quantities, apparently. Way too many for what I need, but oh well, I guess. We'll see what I can do with the remaining leftovers. Yeah, but anyways, let's go through it here. So they're a 2-life common squad. And we knew that was coming. That was something that was hinted at with Ziamara's amulet power. So that's interesting to see. They only have 4 move, but it is with flying. Range of 1, attack 3, defense 3. 105 points. So yeah, like stat-wise, it's pretty rough. Like that's not very good for 105 points. 2 life is good, you know, like for a common squad that is really significant. You know, shouldn't downplay that, especially when there's already a hero in the game that can prevent them from taking more than 1 wound on a pretty easy roll, and then can prevent them from taking any wounds with a 17 or higher. So, and Ziamara's aura is really big. It's a 6 range aura, so you don't have to worry at all about keeping these figures in that aura. It should be just fine. So the abilities are then what we look at here, and all right, let's look at them. So Blade Dance, unique Ullar Curie you control. Roll 1 additional die when attacking a figure engaged with 1 or more of your elites of Ullar. So this is kind of like a targeting beacon sort of power. It's kind of like the Gladiatron, Blastatron combo, that targeting beacon thing. Although it doesn't stack. It doesn't stack the same way. So it's just they get a +1 if they attack a figure engaged with one or more of your elites of Ullar. It doesn't specify a melee attack, however, which is pretty cool, which means at Laga, the Kiri warrior will be a strong pick with this squad, both to boost their movement speed, but also to use his ranged attack against enemies. So that could be interesting. Neat little pairing there. Yeah, I guess that's just going to help boost Mielki's double attack, essentially, which is good. Like, it's already a 4. It's going to be boosted up to a 5 then. So, yeah, nothing to sneeze at. And that's pretty good. The second ability here, Ullar's Pact. If an elite of Ullar receives a wound from a normal attack... Oh, gosh, it only triggers on normal attacks? I didn't notice that earlier. Oh, ugh. Okay. Receives a wound from a normal attack by an enemy figure. After that attack, you may move one engaged Kiri figure you control who follows Ullar up to 4 spaces, even if all of your elites of Ullar are destroyed. It is interesting that it works on, I guess, what would be the final elite of Ullar. Yeah, if the last one is slain, you still get to use this power. This is not bonding, right? It's not bonding with the Ullar Kiri heroes, so it really doesn't solve any order marker problems that you're gonna have. But it is a movement power. However, it's a movement power that triggers when something bad happens to you, right? Like one of your squad figures has to suffer a wound from a normal attack, no less. I really didn't see that restriction early on. There are a lot of ranged special attacks in the game that will completely bypass this power, so that's not good. And they have to be unengaged. It's an unengaged Kiri figure you control who follows Ullar up to 4 spaces. Now, the nice thing is they can use their flying ability with those 4 spaces, so they're allowed to fly when they do that. But yeah, this is going to be an order marker nightmare, because you're going to have to move Ziamara up, you're going to have to move Mielki up, and then you're going to have to manually move the elites up, and that's your round 1. And then round 2, you're going to probably have some order markers on the elites again to get them up a little bit further, and maybe Mielki. And then round 3, hopefully by then it's mostly Mielki, and she can run around. Her staff allows her to heal these figures, though. When she kills figures, she can heal your figures, and Ziamara helps protect the whole thing. The problem, though, with Mielki, she can't heal herself, and there's no way in this army to heal her. So I think if I'm just your opponent, like I'm just targeting Mielki, trying to take her out, because once she's gone, you lose a lot of power here. Oh well, I guess I've got time to think about it. Maybe I'll spend some time playtesting them as well too. Yeah, I'd be curious. Maybe they work better with Laga than Mielki, or maybe both. But then you're running at like I don't know, what is that, a 600-point army? Yeah, 3 squads of elites, plus Mielki, plus Ziamara, plus at Laga is 600 points, or upwards of 600, or around 600. I mean, like it's 585 or something like that. Yeah. Whew. Yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll see. It's not what I was hoping for, you know? But they might surprise me, like the Tanuki Tricksters did. The Tanukis were nothing like I expected. Same with the Lava Crabs, to be honest. And both of those squads I turned out to really quite enjoy. So yeah, I'll trust the designers on this, I think. Yeah, it's interesting, and it'll be cool to see a common squad incorporate heroes without the use of bonding. It's kind of that's a tough thing to pull off. So we'll see if this army card seals the deal. Okay, now we're taking a look at the Chain Gruts, and these have been summoned to Valhalla by Volarak, of all people. And it's interesting to see orcs kind of branch out like that. Like, we had some orcs that weren't Utgar in D&D, and I don't think there's been other orcs that aren't Utgar. Maybe there have been. Maybe I haven't been paying close enough attention. Yeah, but anyways, we've got some orcs that follow Volarak here. And these orcs come from a future time period, from the planet of Gruts, which is the planet where all the orcs are from. And I really like this idea. I think it's a great idea for Heroscape to not just look at pulling figures from like a stereotypical period of time in their history, but looking at, you know, multiple points in time in their world's history. They've done it with Earth, right? You get like the future agent Carr and all that sort of stuff, and then you get like, you know, Parmenio and the Sacred Band from Earth's history. Yeah, so it just makes sense, you know, carry that idea over to the other worlds that are Heroscape specific. So yeah, I'm totally for it. These ones seem to be around like a kind of like an Industrial Revolution style era, I suppose. They got like their fancy uniforms on, and they got their fancy hats and things. And they got chain axes, which, oh boy, I'm thrilled to see chain axe on another army card. Especially a common squad. Oh my goodness. All right, we'll get to that. All right, let's do the first one here. So we got Guild Boss Bonding. Before taking a turn with chain Gruts, you may first take a turn with a champion you control who is an orc or who follows Volarak. So kind of an interesting way to word that. So it's either an orc champion or a Volarak champion. So this also works with the Vorid champions. Kind of a clumsy way to thematically link those two. I guess it works well enough, but yeah, it wouldn't have been my first pick. It also doesn't actually really fix characters like Zed and Esbit, who need explicitly a Vorid bonding squad to be any good. And even then, I don't know, that figure might just be a lost cause, Hindenburg sort of thing. Anyways, yeah, so that's pretty cool. It works with the old orc champions, and it works with the new Volarak champions. So neat, cool to see that cross synergy there. Chain axes. Oh boy, we get to re-roll some dice. We're re-rolling dice, yeah. So after rolling attack dice before defense dice are rolled, you may re-roll one die that did not show a skull. This is the same as what we see on Doram's card. It's basically the same effect that the Revenant Acolytes give to a figure when it's attacking an adjacent opponent's figure, except that now it's happening 4 times per turn, because all your chain Gruts are going to make attacks, and you got to do this reroll 4 times a turn. Oh man, I really dislike this. I get the thematic nature of it, and I think for some folks out there, they actually honestly enjoy reroll powers. That's been my impression, at least, or it feels like it's doing something more than just 3 attack on the card would be doing. But no, 3 attack on the card would be better, just straight up, flat out better, numerically at least. And in some fringe scenarios where you roll all 3 skulls, those would be the times when 3 attack versus 2 attack with chain axes actually is meaningfully different. So yeah, I think these figures are going to add a lot of tedium into playing this army. Now, luckily, it seems like a really order marker efficient army because they have true proper bonding here. So you just dump all your order markers on this squad. This army card honestly could be a good one for newer players of the game. Like if I were looking at some of these newer releases and I was trying to decide how to make an army for a new player to sit down and play, the Chain Gruts would be up there on my list. Partially because Chain Axes is an ability that makes you feel like you're doing something important, even though you're not, right? Like it's numerically unimportant. You should just roll 3 attack dice, you know? But maybe kids will have some fun with that. They get a second chance, like they roll something and then, it didn't show any skulls. But wait, you get to re-roll one of these and maybe it'll show a skull this time. So that could be fun. Yeah, I got one last ability here, Strong Arm. Figures engaged with one or more Chain Gruts cannot make leaving engagement attacks against figures that are not Chain Gruts. I like this. This is really cool. This basically gives your other figures disengage, even if they don't have disengage. Now, it's maybe a little strange because the orcs historically have almost universally all had disengage. Like, it was just a power that they had built in. So yeah, I don't know. It's interesting to see. And I guess it's a cool way to carry that ability over. The Chain Gruts themselves don't get disengage, which is unfortunate because they would probably, benefit from having disengage. But yeah, 4-figure bonding squad for 75 points. Yeah, I don't know. Sounds good to me. Yeah, they are enforcers and they are brutal. Brutal. Yes. The Chain Gruts come packaged with the Ramosaur Rider. And this is a common hero, a large wild champion, which is cool to see as well, who follows Valorak as well, and 3 life on the army card here. So that'll be interesting to keep track of. Move of 7, so really fast, lightning fast, just kind of like the Swag Riders that have a move of 8. 1 range, only 2 attack, and 4 defense. For 35 points, though, pretty inexpensive for a decent stat block. The Ramosaur Rider has First Assault 1, which is a power that I think germinated with Valgard originally. You just get an extra attack die if you attack an enemy that you weren't adjacent to at the start of the round. So great power, love it. It rewards repositioning in melee engagements. Yep, I've always been a big fan of First Assault. I like seeing it on lots of different figures. And if you're using this in tandem with the Chain Gruts, they basically give your Ramosaur Riders disengage. So you can disengage from those engagements and ram someone else. And speaking of ramming, we get the Headbutt power. So after a Ramosaur Rider makes a normal attack, if there was an equal number of shields in the defense roll as skulls in the attack roll, Ramosaur Rider and the defender must each take 1 wound, which is great because in normally if your opponent rolls just as many shields as you rolled skulls, the attack is blocked, right? Nothing happens. But Headbutt is kind of a neat twist on that power. It puts a wound on you, but it also wounds your opponent in the process. And I think that's a really cool thing. It might not pop up in the majority of scenarios, but it's a lot of fun. It's silly, it's thematic, and it actually gets work done because this is a 35-point figure. What is that, like 12 points per wound? Yeah, if you can do more than 12 points of damage in a single headbutt, then it's worth it. And that shouldn't be too hard to do. 12 points of damage, absolutely. Yeah, so big fan of this army card. Not a huge fan of the Chain Gruts. Like they're fine. I honestly I like the theming behind it more than I like the army card design. Yeah, just because I really don't like seeing chain axes on a common squad, and I knew it was going to happen. They revealed these figures at Gen Con, and so I think one of the designers mentioned that they were chain axes, and I was like, oh no, don't tell me you put chain axes on a common squad. Don't tell me we're going to be re-rolling attack dice 4 times per order marker. And yeah, here we are. So yeah, anyways, if you roll up to my table and you're playing Chain Gruts, I am absolutely going to allow you to roll 3 attack dice and then just drop 1 if you roll 3 skulls. Like, the minutes you'll save off of both of our lives would be better spent doing something else. So those are the 2 April expansion sets. I really don't know how much I'll go in on the Chain Gruts. It might just be a 2 or 3 copy thing for me. Yeah, I'm not super jazzed by what I'm seeing there. And I'm going to need the money for the Ranoc Vipers. If I'm being perfectly honest. However, the pre-order promotional figure for April is Syvarris. Syvarris is coming back in the Age of Annihilation, and I love to see Syvarris. So not only do we have an all Ullar expansion set, but we have an Ullar promo figure as well too. Just yes, love it. So this is a figure that originally released in the Rise of the Valkyrie Master set, and he has been such a cornerstone of Heroscape. And I don't mean that in a way that like every army auto includes Syvarris. No, but he has just been so worth 100 points. Just really worth 100 points. And don't just take my word for that. Delta kept him at 100 points. I kind of like treat Syvarris as like, the gold standard, like it feels like every other army card in Delta has been adjusted up and down and this way and that way, right? Like they're all like unrecognizably different in terms of their point value, but Syvarris is just that median right through the middle, 100 points. Like everyone lays their swords on the table and agrees, yes, Syvarris should be 100 points, And he's just such a well-designed figure. Simple scape to a T. I just love it. So he has 4 life, 5 move, 9 range, which is just crazy. They were doing bonkers stuff in the original Master set. 3 attack, 2 defense, and then double attack. So you get to take 2 shots at 9 range. But he's really weak when you get up to him, like only 2 defense and 4 life. I think that's a really important element of his stat block, and they kept that the same on this updated version. The only thing they changed is they added an extra attack, so 4 attack, like attack dice, right? And the power this time is different. So it's not just double attack again with an extra attack die. That'd be kind of boring, because then he basically just obsoletes the old Syvarris. This one doesn't. This one is different, but also really, really good. So volley unto himself. After moving and before attacking, you may reduce Syvarris's range value to 6 to make up to 2 normal attacks this turn. Or you may reduce it to 3 to make up to 3 normal attacks this turn. So good. So good. I love how this power is designed. Not only is it awesome, like it's just a really strong ability to make 3 attacks of 4, or if you have height, 3 attacks of 5 at 3 range. Whew! It's really good, and that could be against the same target. That is not like he needs to spread them out or whatever. No, you can just like pelt the same target over and over and over. It's great. But I love the decision making this implies now. So he no longer has 2 attacks at 9 range, and like the difference between 9 range and 6 range is significant. Like it's massive. Like you'll really feel that difference. To move to 6 range puts you in harm's way pretty much instantly, right? Because then a 5 move melee figure can run up to you and engage you, and then you're in an engagement, and then you're dead. So that is significant. If you want to keep Syvarris safe, you have to stay at that 9 range, which means you're only getting 1 attack per turn, which isn't good. So the temptation is always going to be there. Okay, maybe do I close the distance now? Now do I go in and get 2 attacks? And then when I'm surrounded, I'll start pelting out 3 if I live long enough, It's great. And like I said, it's really powerful, but I also don't think it invalidates the old Syvarris. Like they're both thematically linked. They're very similar. This is not like a Sonlin 1.0 and a Sonlin 2.0, or like a Raylan 2.0 and a Raylan 3.0 or something like that, right? Like where they're like vastly different army cards all of a sudden. No, this is Syvarris. It's still Syvarris. It still like feels like Syvarris on the army card there. But there's just this new decision to be made that I think is really interesting. And it still allows the old one to have just as much value. Double attack at 9 range. still really great, and this figure cannot do that. But there's some new tools that have been added in as well too, and I really like what I'm seeing here. So I'm super excited for this figure. Syvarris has always just been a staple. This one's 110 points, which, yeah, I think that's okay. We have a lot of 110 point stuff, or like 120, like that sort of range in Contemporary. So I would like to see some stuff maybe a little cheaper, but at the same time, you know, he's good. So you got to price him accordingly. So, yeah, I guess we'll see. He'll be a fun one to play test and proxy, because I already have a pretty good proxy picked out. Okay, on to the May releases, and I don't think I have as much to say about these ones. These ones just, in general, aren't as interesting to me. And maybe it's just because I'm an Ullar fanboy or whatever. But yeah, April is going to be the month of the Vipers for sure. May's got some interesting things here. So the first one here are the Revenants of Revna. The Revenants of Revna were revealed recently. All right, so Revenants of Revna is a pretty silly name, but you know, it's fun. It's whatever. It's Heroscape. This is an undead Curie common squad with 6 move and stealth flying. 6 move and stealth flying is really good. Stealth flying, for those who don't know, is it allows you to ignore elevations just like flying, but it also is disengage wrapped into the same power. So you don't take disengagement attacks or leaving engagement attacks when you run away from battle or move around in battle. So yeah, it's great. These figures are really maneuverable. They're designed to work with the other Revna Curie figures, those undead Curie, Kilkrax and Miserks, with occult bonding. Before taking a turn with the Revenants of Revna, you may take a turn with a warrior, witch, or scourge hero you control who follows Revna. So those are warriors, those 2 I mentioned earlier. I don't know if we have witches yet. Some cool future proofing though, if they ever come around. It'll be like a lizard folk hero, which we never received, you know, from D&D. Yeah, and Scourge. Well, we'll get to the Scourge here in a little bit. But yeah, true, authentic bonding. Cool. That'll help just on its own, right? Those figures need a lot of help, like Kilkrax and Miserks needed a lot of help. So it's good to get some true, authentic bonding. And I like to see it. I like simple bonding like this. I don't know what it is. I think there was a general sense within the War Council, or maybe even Heroscape players in general, that like just run-of-the-mill bonding was like no longer cool or something. I couldn't disagree more personally. Yeah, I think it's just like such an easy and effective way to make heroes more viable, is you just, you know, give a hero some name things like a class or a personality that is a target for bonding, and boom, bada bing, bada boom. It's instantly a much more viable figure. So yeah, I love seeing the return of just plain Jane simple bonding. Let's keep it up. The other power on this card is, in my opinion, probably the best power in any of the cards that was revealed. Like I don't mean that in terms of power level. I mean that in terms of design. I think this power just nails it. They just knock it out of the park. So Blood for Blood reads as follows. After revealing an order marker on the Revenants of Revna, you may place a wound marker on a warrior, witch, or scourge hero you control who follows Revna. If you do, add 1 to the attack value of that hero and all Revenants of Revna you control until the next time you reveal an order marker. So what this is going to allow you to do is put your wound markers on characters like Miserks or Kilkrax, or the Scourge hero that's included in the set here. And each one of those is a viable target for good reason, right? Like Miserks, you want to put wound markers on her to I don't know, like essentially get her killed, because you want to put her life drain ability on Kilkrax. That's like where you want that to go eventually. So, you know, putting wound markers on her is halfway decent, and that'll help boost these figures as they go. And while Mizzerix is alive, she has the ability to heal herself. So when you put wound markers on her, now you're giving her a reason to kill things and just remove that wound marker, and then that damage is negated essentially, and you just gained a +1 for your entire army for that one turn. Like that's pretty significant. That's awesome. You know, you want to put the wound marker on Kilkrax eventually so that she can get 5 attack. Like, that's great, you know. So you want to boost her up, and then hopefully by then Mizzerix has already gone to the great beyond and passed her life drain spirit onto Kilkrax, so then she can heal herself using that ability. And the Nuckelavee, you want to put the wound markers on that creature because its Withering Breath special attack, it increases its potency by the number of wound markers on that figure. So I guess let's look at that card right here so you can kind of see the whole combo in action. So the Nuckelavee is a common hero. It's a demon. It's a scourge. That's why that was significant. 3 life, 7 move, 1 range, 3 attack, 4 defense, only 50 points, which is pretty good for that stat block. It's not too shabby. So honestly, a pretty good 50-point filler even here. Yeah, so it's got this Withering Breath special attack, which has an attack of 2 plus special. You choose 3 spaces in a straight line from the Nuckelavee. All figures on those spaces who are in the line of sight are affected by Withering Breath, and you roll 1 attack die for each wound on the attacking, one additional attack die for each wound on the Nuckelavee. And you roll the attack dice once for all figures, and then they roll defense dice separately. So it's 2 plus however many wounds are on the card. So you can have up to 2 wounds on the card, which means you could have a 4 attack straight line of 3 spaces, which would be pretty significant. Now, that pairs really well with Subsume Soul. The first time a Nuckelavee destroys a figure each turn, you may remove a wound marker from that Nuckelavee. And it cannot be used on destructible objects. That's fine, whatever. This is cool because you roll the attack dice first for the Withering Breath, and then if you kill something with it, then you remove a wound marker. And then your next turn, you can put another wound marker on using the Revenants of Revna and Blood for Blood. Yeah, so this is like a 1-2 punch, and it's just awesome. Yeah, I love it. My hat's off to Renegade with this one here. Like I think they just nailed it. They knocked it out of the park with the design, Blood for Blood, and the pairing with just regular bonding there. I think the Revenants have single-handedly made the Age of Annihilation, Revenant, Curie, Undead Warriors viable, and honestly, like, quite powerful, like quite strong. Like, I think there's something here. Yeah, like, wow, I'm beyond impressed. So yeah, great job, folks. I will say something negative though. I've got something I hate, something I don't use that word lightly. I really hate this decision. On one of the Revenants of Revna, one of the figures, they decided to mold rocks onto the base? Why? Why did we do this? Why are we doing this? Like, it looks so bad. Why are we doing this? There's no reason that pose couldn't have worked on just a flat base like the others. Like, why? Like Classicscape had none of this. Age of Annihilation had none of this either. Like, the only stuff that had this was the D&D figures. Like, some of those D&D figures, they had the stupid rocks popping up because they were reused minis. They were from D&D. Like, they had an excuse. I just don't get the decision here. Like, why make one base of the squad completely ununiform with the rest? And like, why make the base like that at all? Like, I just think it looks so bad. Why mold it that way? So yeah, I'm super frustrated by this. Like, it's honestly such a visual turnoff of the squad. And I get a lot of folks are complaining about the paint job on this too, like they don't look undead enough. And sure, whatever. But like those rocks on the base, that's my bone to pick with this squad. Renegade, don't do that again. Don't. Stop it. Yuck. Yeah. So, yeah, that kind of ruins the figures, kind of like the whole squad. Like, so frustrated by that. Anyways, maybe I'm just being particular about that, and maybe I'm insane. No one else cares. But yeah, I just think it's super, super bizarre. What a weird, bad decision to make on an otherwise, frankly, awesome army card design. Yeah, well done, Renegade, and shame on you. So next we have the Skordyre Soldiers, and this is an interesting army expansion. It's got 1 common squad and 3 common heroes all in one box. So yeah, lots of stuff going on in here. Yeah, I don't want to dive too deep into this because like some of these figures are kind of complicated. But the infantry here, they've got this thing where you can bond with up to 2 common heroes or 1 unique hero that's Skordyre or Insect. It's kind of a wordy power, but yeah, I get what it means. So all right, so kind of general bonding again. That's cool. After teaming is the next power here. After a Skordyre infantry figure you control is destroyed by a normal attack from an enemy figure, you may move 1 unengaged common Skordyre or insect figure you control up to 5 spaces, even if all your Skordyre soldiers are destroyed. So this is the same thing that we saw on the elites of Ullar. It's just reworded to apply to the Skordyre instead. So just kind of a movement thing whenever you take damage. It's neat. Like this is it's a new sort of type of ability that we're seeing here. I don't think we've really seen that before. Like maybe Scatter is kind of like the closest to it from Classicscape. But yeah, it's kind of a neat power to give to a common squad that is melee that you want up in the front lines. So you get some repositioning stuff there. Cool, I guess. I'm gonna forget to use this ability all the time. I'm just telling you right now. I'm really forgetful with things that don't like happen in like the proper phase of like your turn. Like this is something that happens on your opponent's turn. It's gonna be really tough for me to remember to like, oh yeah, I can activate this every time my opponent does this thing. I really struggle with Tanuki Uruki as well too. It just feels like it comes at such a weird timing window. Like after you've already completed your turn with the Tanuki, all of a sudden you can move 2 of them, It's like, oh yeah, I forgot about this, right? Or didn't plan ahead or whatever, yeah. So yeah, it's definitely not a power made for our Slugger, I can tell you that. And then lastly, Insectoid Swarm. When a Skordyre infantry attacks a figure engaged with at least 2 other Skordyre insect figures, add 1 to its attack value. Again, this is very similar to what we saw with the elites of Ullar. On that card, they were boosting the hero's attack, and then on this one, they're boosting the infantry, like the common squad's attack. So yeah, I don't know. They both kind of work. Only 45 points. It's only a 3-figure squad though, so take that as it is. 5 move. It's basically crab stats when it comes down to it. So these are like lava crabs with bonding, more or less, because you're gonna get that extra attack die from Insectoid Swarm. So then you're exactly crab stats at 45 points. It's really going to be up to the bonding to decide whether or not this squad is better or worse than the crabs. Honestly, if it has bonding, it's like automatically better, I think. I would like to see a Crab King hero in the future. I think there's some really fun ideas there. It's something that could give +2 movement to scavengers, or allow you to roll additional attack dice against figures on lava spaces or something like that. Like, yeah, something in there, to boost the lava crabs up. That'd be cool. But yeah, the Skordyre Infantry, they're just kind of the fodder, and they boost these 3 common heroes. So you've got the Spitting Hive Soldier, the Lurking Hive Soldier, and the Bursting Hive Soldier. And all 3 of these have unique things they bring to the battle. The Spitting one has this Corrosive Bile thing that can lower its opponent's defense value by 1 until the next time any player reveals an order marker, which could then allow your infantry to run in and get their attacks off against a weakened foe. That's kind of neat little synergy there, a little blaster thing. The Lurking Hive Soldier is kind of like an assassin bug. The only good bug's the dead bug, right? This is an assassin bug. And it runs in 7 move, 4 attack. It's got disengage, so it can run past things, and concealment as well too, which is a D20 power that lets you ignore wounds from distant targets. So if it's attacked at range, it's got a pretty good getaway thing. So that one's pretty cool. And then a Bursting Hive Soldier as well too. And this one's a neat combination of abilities here. So it's got this Acid Sacs thing where if it's destroyed by a normal attack or leaving engagement attack, you roll the d20, and on a 9 or higher, all adjacent figures receive 1 wound, except Skordyre. So you can't affect your own Skordyre with it. So that's kind of neat. But the other cool thing about it is that they brought back a Coward's Reward from the Knights of Weston. I feel like I was just talking about this ability in a different Slugscape video. But this disallows your opponent from disengaging because they want to run away from this bug, right? And they don't want to blow it up right next to them. I don't want to be standing next to it when it pops, right? This disincentivizes that because if your opponent does that, you then roll 2 attack dice for disengagement attack rather than just 1. So, yeah, really cool bug explosion. No brain bug yet though, but frankly, I find the idea of a bug that thinks offensive. So. All right, then we've got the Necrotech Reavers, and this is a common squad. And another set that actually has 3 common heroes, in a way. This one's weird. This is a really strange collection, and I really haven't wrapped my head around this one yet. So the idea here is in the box you get 2 copies of the squad, the Necrotech Reavers, and you get 9 attachable arms, and each arm will change one of those figures into a common hero. And there's 3 different common hero cards that go with that. And throughout the battle, you can scavenge parts and change out one of your squad figures for a previously destroyed common hero. It's really weird and interesting, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, like you're physically changing the figures. They've got these little friction fit arms that you snap on and off, I suppose. And depending on what arm is on the figure, it changes the powers it has access to. These guys have a bonding ability too. It's a little bit more complicated because if you bond with a common Eisenek hero, you can go ahead and use all of the squad figures. Sorry, I was just rereading it. It's kind of complicated. If the hero you bond with is unique, you only get to use one of the squad figures, which is a really strange limitation. But I get why. Like I just think it might have, I don't know, been more prudent to, I don't know, not have the unique bonding and just be a common hero bonding thing. I don't know. Whatever. It is what it is. It's gonna take me some months here. Hopefully I have some time, I guess. Wait until May comes around to wrap my head around how the squad is supposed to work and how many copies to get. That's the other thing, right? So anyways, yeah, you got the squad. They're kind of like a melee squad. 5 move, 3 attack, 4 defense for 65 points. Really solid stat block for 65, by the way. Like that's decent. And then you've got the 3 common heroes. So we'll look at the Necrotech Ghastblade first. This one has 4 attack and 3 defense, so they kind of flip-flop those. 2 life, which is cool. It's got the Wild Spin special attack. If a Necrotech Ghastblade attacks with Wild Spin special attack, it must attack all adjacent figures. That includes your own figures as well, too. So you got to be careful with this one. The Necrotech Ghoul Gripped has Cyber Claw and Melee Defense 1, which is so good. That is exactly carbon copied from the Gladiatrons from way back when, from Wave 4 Gladiatrons. Love the Gladiatrons. So Cyber Claw is great. It stops your enemies from running away, and Melee Defense gives you an additional defense die against adjacent enemies. So kind of cool. Yeah, nice battlefield control common hero here. And the last one here is the Unstable Blaster. After taking a turn with a Necrotech Geistfire, if that Geistfire attacked a non-adjacent figure, you must roll a 20-sided die. If you roll a 1 to 5, the Geistfire takes 1 wound. It has a life of 2. So this is the only ranged component of the army. And it's decent. And it's honestly not the worst thing in the world to take damage and destroy a Geistfire, because you can bring it back at the start of every round using scavenged parts. So yeah, this is all pretty cool, and I know some folks are gonna really love this army. I don't think I'm one of those folks. I think I like what I see here. I'm not sure yet though. It's just really weird. Yeah. Okay, and then we get into something that I know I don't like. I'm certain of this. We get the Valkyrie Thormun. And Thormun, you've probably heard me talk about Thormun's journal before. Thormun is the one who cataloged and wrote all of the original Heroscape lore, like in canon, I suppose. He's the chronicler, I suppose, telling the story of Valhalla. But he was the first to find the well springs and drink from them. But he swore off it and, went to do his own thing. So here he is, the Valkyrie, Thormun, as a figure, as a hero in the game Heroscape. I was really hoping something like this wouldn't happen. And it all started with the Avalon Hill campaign, teasing Thormun as being a new Valkyrie general or something like that. They were gonna make Thormun into something significant, and I was just, no, come on guys, don't do this. That's such a dumb idea. Don't do that. I guess Renegade kind of took it and ran with it, and now here we have a Valkyrie general as a figure, which is, to me, I feel like this is a Rubicon that's been crossed. What's to stop us from getting Utgar as I guess he's dead, but Jandar as a figure in the game? I don't want, I think that kind of breaks the world. It kind of just, I don't know, it just kind of breaks everything. It'd be I've kind of seen the Valkyrie generals as the D&D players, and then the figures they summon as being D&D characters. I'm talking about the real world game of Dungeons and Dragons or any tabletop RPG like that. The generals are the players, and the figures they summon are the characters in the game. And the second you break that and you now insert the generals into the game itself, it just kind of, I guess it shatters that kind of fourth wall illusion there. I don't like this for a lot of reasons. The unaffiliated thing I think is really weird too. If you're gonna bring a Valkyrie in, just make them aligned to their own general. Thormun is a Valkyrie, right? So you should just be Thormun. He's got his own symbol, right? It's right there on the card. So I'm really do not want do not want this. However, credit where credit's due, I think the reveal that Thormun is the head of the pirates is pretty cool. I think that's a pretty good way to spin this character to take this direction, because it ties into what Avalon Hill was trying to pitch, where Thormun was ready to take matters into his own hands. He He was sick of the war. He was sick of the generals. His mission is to cut off the well springs. He summons figures from the void, not from the well springs. Like he's got this whole thing, and he's the pirate leader. So he's been the one in the background, kind of masterminding the pirates. I don't know if that adds up narratively. If this is a retcon that actually makes sense. But I do think it's kind of cool that they linked him to the rest of the pirates, and having a pirate ability literally called Pirate King is fantastic. That would make any Pirates of Penzance fan just sing, Yeah. He's got some stupid abilities. Ragtag Armada is about being able to command any unique heroes. You just build an army full of just ragtag unique heroes, which I don't know. I guess that's kind of neat. I don't know if it's any good, but he just I don't know. Okay, so after revealing an order marker on and before taking a turn with Thormun. Okay, that's interesting. You still get to take a turn with him. You may place a gold command marker on the army card of another hero you control to immediately take a turn with that hero. You may not place a command marker on the army card of a figure with the same affiliation as a hero you control that already has a command marker. At the end of the round, remove all of your command markers and then you start again. So you're getting, I guess, yeah, I just don't know if it's any good, like Thormun here, I don't know. Okay, some million thoughts here. Thormun here is 180 points, which is half your army, and he can fly around and shoot things, or he's got the swashbuckler thing, where he gets a double attack on adjacent figures. For 180 points, you're just, I guess you're getting an order marker hub. You can just put all your order markers on him and then take command of the other unique heroes. I'm just kind of thinking why would I take Thormun if I could just run a stupid, a unique hero only build that doesn't have necessarily any synergy anyways. It's not like he's providing any of the synergy himself. Yeah, I don't know. It's strange. Yeah, this is a big miss for me, I think. Other than conceptually, on the narrative sense, if they had just revealed that Thormun was behind the pirates and didn't have him as a figure or have an army card related to him, I think I'd be on board. I'd be on board with that idea. I just don't like that we're bringing Valkyrie generals into the game. I hope, this is fingers crossed, please let this one be the exception and not the new norm going forward. Don't make Utgar a figure. Don't make Jandar a figure. Please do not do this. I beg of you. Yeah. I also don't know what's going on with this card, by the way. Look at the, he's got this water or sky background over the hitbox. That just feels like a mistake to me. Isn't that supposed to be black like all the other cards? Super strange. Oh yeah, actually, I'm scrolling through these cards, I'm noticing that some of them are different. Oh no, they're doing this on all the cards. Were they always this way? I'm going insane. There's no way they were always this way. Oh my goodness, in Age of Annihilation they were always this way. How have I never noticed that? That's so weird. Whoa, okay. I need to open up my eyes, I suppose. Yeah, I guess the contrast has never been this stark before, where it's just whoa, okay, that is bright blue right behind the hit zones. Okay. Okay, yeah. Anyways, he comes packaged with the Kraken. Yeah, I don't know. Okay. Yeah, I'm not crazy about the Kraken either, to be honest. I think it's kind of weird that the Kraken isn't the same general as the Krakenling. That's strange. Yeah, I don't like that. Anywho, The Kraken is a unique squad, which is kind of a strange thing, but each tentacle piece has to be summoned in. Like, has to every time you reveal an order marker on a unique or unfathomable hero you control, you may place one figure from this squad that has not been destroyed in an empty space adjacent to that hero. So you got to bring them in one at a time, just like the Glide Strikers. So that's kind of curious. Command the Kraken. Once per round, instead of taking a turn with a unique or unfathomable hero you control, you may take a turn with the Kraken instead. Whoa. Yeah. I guess that's okay. I don't know. Yeah. And then Warp Space. Instead of moving normally with the Kraken's figures, you may place that figure on an empty space within 4 spaces of that figure. If it's engaged when it starts to warp space, it will take any leaving engagement attacks. Yeah. I don't know. The Kraken is weird and honestly not all that powerful. 100 points. Like it's like the Kraken Ling is 85 points. I was, to be honest, I was expecting something that was like way more powerful. I mean, it's nothing to sneeze at if you get all the pieces of Exodia together here, right? And you're actually able to assemble the darn thing. You can, take a command of it once per round instead of taking a turn with a unique or unfathomable hero, though. Like, so, yeah, you might as well just put order markers on this card instead. Anyways, someone had a dream here. I'm sure this makes sense to somebody. I'm not the I'm not the one. Not the one for this. So okay, so that's Thormun and the Kraken. Kind of a sour note to end on. Oh wait, no, we got another sour note to end on. We can do this. Okay. All right. Agent Carr 2.0, and he's come back with a vengeance and a dogged friend. Yeah, this is Duned and Agent Carr together. I absolutely love it. Yes, the fusion is successful. To be honest though, like the card and figure aren't necessarily all that great. We get Crippling Gaze kind of coming back with, some nerfs to it. Crippling Glance, 15. The range has been reduced, I think, from 4 to 3. That's pretty significant, and it's still before moving. And now, if you hit the 15 or higher, it's only one unrevealed order marker at random from that's removed from your opponent's army card, rather than all, which was Crippling Gaze from Duned. I can kind of understand the impetus behind this though, because Crippling Gaze is really swingy. Like honestly, it's a great ability. Like it's really good if you can pull it off. I've had some amazing games with Duned in it where you hit that right on order marker 1 and you are playing a different game than your opponent. Your opponent goes and grabs a bite to eat or something, it's awesome. So to nerf that to make it a little bit more fair, a little bit more balanced, I think is fine. I don't have a problem with that. To see Sword of Reckoning return is pretty cool. Disengage returning to Agent Carr is cool, but Ghost Walk not returning is it's kind of not cool. That's too bad. So you can't move through opponent's figures anymore. Oh well. Stop Block is almost identical to the original Agent Carr. He's got 1 more life and 1 more move, and he's now 30 more points. I don't know. I don't think this is going to be all that good. It's going to be fun though. I think this will be a pretty fun figure. I was pretty sold on a lot of the theory crafting that was going on around the time that we heard Agent Carr might be getting a 2.0. A lot of folks were saying Stealth Dodge on Agent Carr would be awesome, and I totally agree. I think maybe Stealth Dodge instead of Disengage would have been a little bit more interesting here. A little bit more something. Yeah, because then that forces your opponent to come in close to deal with you, and then you can use your Crippling Glance at them. I just think that's a more interesting design, but it isn't what we got. I love the fusion. I love that they paired these two together. It's hilarious. It's awesome. Great throwback. But is it any good? I think it's going to end up like a Shiori, I think, where like the concept is cool, the point value is just completely out of whack. But we'll see. I mean, like 6 attack with Sword of Reckoning is nothing to sneeze at. 6 attack on a 6 move figure with disengage and the ability to potentially mess up your opponent's order markers. It's good. It's a good kit of tools at their disposal here. So yeah, we'll have to see. Anyways, that's the pre-order bonus for the May releases. So yeah, that's what we're looking at here. I think I've talked enough. Like there's a bunch of terrain expansions too. I'll leave links to all of this here. I don't have too much to say. I like seeing all the terrain that we're getting. Like that's pretty cool. But yeah, beyond that, I don't really have too much to say about the terrain stuff. Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, anyways, those are all the releases that are coming up in spring of next year. Yeah, I guess that's one of the things that I'm least excited about is I gotta wait till April before I actually get to the real Heroscape stuff. There's like some additional accessories and stuff releasing in February, and then March is Yo Joe, and then April and May is when we get to the real Heroscape. So yeah, I'll be looking forward to that. Probably less so February and March, but that's okay. I got enough here to tide me over. Renegade has not been shy with releasing new figures. So yeah, lots of future videos to talk about here as well. So thanks for sticking around. I hope you enjoyed this long-winded take at the figures releasing in winter and spring of 2026. Until I see you next time, happy scaping.